Two men wearing black suits, white shirt, and matching red ties walked into the office of Dr. Gambo. "Oh, my friend, how are you doing?" he said, stretching his hand to the nearest man to him. "Am good, Dr. Gambo. The senator has been disturbing us. Why is it taking long?" he said before sitting down. He sat leg crossed. "CSO, you know kidney isn't a commodity that we can buy from Terminus Market." Dr. Gambo said, "If you can't do the job, return the money. 70 million naira is no joke. The senator's son is dying every day. You have just one to deliver, or return the money. Dialysis is no longer working for Adrian. He needs the surgery now." They yelled, banging on the doctor's desk. "Don't worry, CSO. You were sent to me because I deliver. Give me 2 more weeks, Dr. Gamble promised. "Well, it's you who should be told not to worry, because you won't like what would happen you," the man warned. "He got you." His service pistol was exposed for the doctor to see. Dr. Gambo dialed the number of one of his doctors. "Dr. Israel, please, can you come to my office?" the doctor said. The doctor was downstairs. He climbed up to the director's office. "Sir, you called me," Israel said. "Yes, I did. The senator is becoming a bone in my throat," Dr. Gambo said. "Sir, how do you mean?" he asked. "It's been 3 weeks since they made the payment. They're becoming impatient." Dr. Gambo said, "Sir, we'll get the kidney soon. 70 million naira is too much to refund. We would get the kidney this week," Dr. Israel said. "I just pray so. The pressure is too much. You can go," he said. Dr. Israel left the office. "Baby, what's wrong with you? You're looking blue," Chikuti said to his wife. Tears were falling from Bridget's eyes. "I don't understand what's wrong with me, babe. My stomach hurts," Bridget said, pouring a river of tears down. "Let me get the car keys, so I'll take you to the hospital." He helped her sit on the couch. He went to the room and got their 9-month-old son. He picked Vincent up and got the key. "Baby, let's go now," he said, helping Bridget get up from the couch. The pains was so terrible, like 4 menstrual cramps coming at once. When Chikuti noticed Bridget couldn't stand, he dropped the bag and baby and took her to the car. Then he returned to pick the baby and bag. "Sorry, baby. You will be all right. We will soon get to the hospital. Don't cry, baby," he said, kissing her on the hand. Baby Vincent was crying down the heavens. Bridget fought to calm him down. "Which hospital should we go to?" Chikuti asked. Bridget couldn't speak. It felt like a strong hand grabbed her intestine. "Baby, any hospital is fine. I am dying of pains," she said. Vincent opened his mouth, calling down the heavens. "Please, Vincent, be quiet, please," she cried. They increased his gears and widened his mouth like the Red Sea. The traffic was building up around New Stadium Road. Chikuti kept blasting his horn to get Jos Teaching Hospital. The gridlock was too much, so he decided to divert to Faringata Street, where a popular Jos private hospital stood. He drove into the garage and rushed into the emergency ward to call for help soon. 2 nurses rushed out with a stretcher. Bridget was put on the stretcher and rushed into the emergency ward. The doctor checked her, after giving her a painkiller to numb her pains. "We have to wait till tomorrow morning to run a scan on her," the doctor said. Chikuti nodded. He was delighted that she could finally sleep. He sat next to Bridget, tending to her and Vincent all through the night. The next morning, Bridget was woken to a sharp pain in the lower part of her stomach. She couldn't take any food for breakfast. The medical director of the hospital, Dr. Gambo, called Chikuti to his office. "The scan results is out. You cannot believe how lucky your wife is. If you had wasted another day, your wife's life would have been in grave danger. See, her appendix would have ruptured," he said, with a serious face. "Well, sir, what should we do now?" Chikuti asked. "She has to undergo surgery today. You'll go and pay 200,000 naira deposit at the cashier office. Your total bill is 500,000 naira, but we would start if you deposit 200. Chikuti rushed to the cashier and paid the money. Bridget was wheeled into the theater, while Chuduti paced outside, worrying over his wife's life. The doctors cut open Bridget's lower abdomen and tied her appendix with stitches and removed her appendix. "She has 2 healthy kidneys, sir," Dr. Israel said to the medical director, who also heard surgery. "Oh, I almost forgot. Her blood group matched with that of the senator's son. We can take one of her kidney. Her other one would serve her." They spent another 2 hours to remove one of her kidney. They watched her removed kidney with cold preservation solution. Then it was put in a cooler with ice. 3 hours later, that the doctors came outside and informed him the surgery was successful. Bridget was wheeled to the recovery room. She woke up 5 hours later. After the sedative wore out, she was so weak. For days she was only being fed pap. She was discharged 7 days after the surgery. They returned to their house in Barking Rafingora. Days ran into weeks. Bridget got weaker each day. I don't want the child. I've told you I don't need a scandal that will ruin my reputation. Susan, you have to abort the baby. Dr. Gambo barked at the terrified nurse. Sir, I'm too young for abortion. I want to keep this baby. You told me you loved me, Susan said with teary eyes. Susan, don't try to blackmail me. I will deal with you decisively. I am not joking with you. Why are you a nurse? Who trained you? He hissed. You are a foolish girl to get pregnant. What have you been doing with all the money I give you? The doctor asked. He was infuriated. But sir, I begged that we do it with condoms. You refused. How is this now my fault? Susan stood with tears pouring down her fair and almost white skin. Susan, get out of my office, he yelled at the shivering nurse. Get out. Leave my office, you idiot. Susan shivered and fled from the room. Such an idiot, how can you allow yourself get pregnant? At 24 years, you don't know what to do, he hissed. Sandra went to the nurse's station. She bowed her head on her desk, crying her lungs out. Susan, why are you crying? Cynthia asked. She was dressed in a white gown uniform, similar to Susan's. Her head was pinned on the table. She didn't know what to say. Her clandestine relationship with Dr. Beatrice Gambo had started immediately after she was employed at the New Hope Hospital. He treated her better than all her colleagues. The preferential treatment was glaring for all to see. Cash gifts, perfumes, creams. Susan fell on the doctor's hotel bed. For one, the relationship blossomed until she fell pregnant. After work, she went home with the burden on her heart. Her parents tried to know what was wrong with her, but she wouldn't say. The plague in her heart kept eating her. She was getting lean by the day. Susan, what's eating you up? You're not okay? Cynthia asked her friend. She was alone crying. If we are friends, why can't you tell me what's bothering you? Cynthia probed. Cynthia, I am ruined. My life has been damaged, Susan said, letting rain pour from her eyes. Ruined his babe? You're getting me pregnant with fear, Cynthia said. Her stomach had started rumbling. Am pregnant, Susan said. Cynthia held her mouth in shock. For who? Cynthia asked, her face turning white. Susan paused. It's for Dr. Gambo, Susan said. Cynthia's hand remained over her mouth. What's he saying? Cynthia asked. He's asking me to have an abortion, Susan said. Are you going to have an abortion? Cynthia asked. She knew Susan's Christian background. No, never. God forbid. My mother did not kill me. I won't kill my baby, Susan swore. You should tell your parents. At least they could follow this up with Dr. Gambo. You know how wealthy he is? Cynthia asked. Telling my parents is out of the question. They'll kill me, Susan said, crying. You just have to tell somebody, babe, Cynthia said. Susan calmly nodded. Dr. Gambo kept away from Susan for 2 months. They worked in the same hospital, but he made sure she was put in a different ward where he would not have to run into her. He was in bed with his wife at about 10 p.m. She was already sleeping softly on his arm when a tiny white fluorescent light began to twinkle. His instinct told him to check who it was. Though he trusted his wife Miriam, she was the sincere Christian. He just played along. When he opened the screen of the phone, he was shocked to see who was messaging his wife. He jumped from bed and rushed to the living room to read the message. Hello, ma'am. So sorry to be sending you this message now. I know you don't know me. I am the staff of New Hope Hospital. Ma, I have a confession to make concerning your husband. I'll be grateful, Ma, if you can give me a few minutes of your time. The message ended. Jesus Christ, this girl wants to destroy my life. He quickly deleted the message. I'll be at the hospital tomorrow evening. Let's meet tomorrow by 6 p.m. and talk this confession thing over. Dr. Gambo replied on behalf of his wife. When I finish dealing with you, men will terrify you, he said. The next day he saw Susan in the children ward when he went to check a child who had just undergone an open heart surgery. Susan knew he was avoiding her, so she also avoided him. She was anxious about meeting Dr. Gambo's wife. Susan, can we start going home? Cynthia asked. It was the end of their shift and Susan. No, you can go without me. I've to wait for somebody, Susan said, arms crossed over her chest. Cynthia gathered her things and left the hospital. Susan waited till 6. She didn't see Dr. Gambo's wife. She was about to leave by 7 p.m. when she got a message from the number and had sent a WhatsApp message. I'm at the garage, behind the hospital. Please meet me there. Susan walked briskly to the car park. She saw the headlamp of a Mercedes salon car beaming at her. She walked towards the car. It had tinted windows. Immediately she opened the door. She saw a gun pointing at her. "If you make one noise, I will blast your head open," the authoritative voice of Dr. Gambo ordered. "Get in and lock the door," he said. Susan held the urge to scream deep in her stomach and obediently got into the car. The tires screeched on the tiled floor before it drove into the night. "Please, sir, if you let me go, I promise to take out the pregnancy," Susan begged, but the doctor chuckled. "The time for letting you do things on your own is gone. Right now, take the pills, open the water and drink it. I want to see you remove that bastard," he barked. Susan opened the blue cap of the bottled water. She drank down the pills. "I've taken the pills, sir. Can I start going home?" Susan asked, shivering. The doctor chuckled the second time. He pointed the gun at her forehead. "Open your mouth." Susan opened her lips. He inspected her mouth with a tiny medical torchlight. She had swallowed the drugs. "Now sleep, girl. Now sleep," the doctor said as Susan drifted into sleep. She began to snore lightly. Dr. Gambo waited till it was dark at about 9 p.m. He called and asked the security men to kill the light in the whole hospital. The place was thrown into total darkness. He called Israel to help him carry her into the hospital. "Where are we taking her?" Dr. Israel asked. "To the theater," Dr. Gambo said. They traced their way through the dark corridor and entered the theater. "Her stomach is protruded. She seems pregnant," Dr. Israel said in the dark. "Focus on the job. We need her kidneys. Our Chinese clients would pay good money for her kidneys and her heart," Dr. Gambo said. "Yakubu, you can turn on the generator now," Dr. Gambo said. Soon the light came up. "Jesus Christ," Dr. Israel cried when he saw who was on the operation table. He fell back. "Sir, we cannot do that to Susan," Israel cried. "Watch me dissect her. This isn't the first time. I have done this to a known person. If you don't have the stomach to watch, get out of here now," he said, changing into his scrubs and protective gears. "Why do you want to do this to Susan, sir?" "Please let her go," Israel begged. But the way the doctor stared at her, he took a cue to leave. Susan came around on the operation table. She was terrified to see the doctor getting ready to operate on her. He had cut open the gown she was wearing. Her protruding pregnancy was visible for him to see. She tried to get down from the operating table and run fast and far away from the doctor, but the drugs she had taken had paralyzed her. She couldn't lift up her arms or legs. They were simply not obeying her instructions. "Don't worry, you cannot move your arms or legs. Those nerve drugs has taken your ability to move in the next 10 hours. "Well, that will be too late, because I would have finished with the operation," he said, smiling, arranging the scapulas on the table. "Please, sir, don't do this to me," Susan cried. Dr. Gambo put his index finger to his mouth. "Be quiet, soon you won't feel anything." Susan whimpered as she felt the sharp blades of the scapula cut open his stomach. She was terrified, to an extent that she had a cardiac arrest. The pains was unbearable. She passed out. Dr. Gambo harvested her 2 kidneys and her heart. He put it into a plastic box with ice. Then he settled down. He chopped her up neatly into 4 parts for easy disposal. Her head and neck with her arms he put in a traveling bag. He cut the stump of her body in 2. The line cut through the ridge between her 2 breasts. Then her hips and legs went into another bag. "Yakubu, kill the light." Dr. Gambo ordered. The security turned off the generator. Doctor began to move the bags out of the theater. He took the bags one at a time to the trunk of his car. He made sure the security men weren't suspecting or watching him. As soon as he was done with loading the body, he drove home to GRA, where he got his shovel and drove to a forest near a tall, rocky mountain. He spent an hour digging and burying her body. The next morning, he placed a call to his Chinese vendor. $200 was transferred to Dr. Gambo's account. A courier man came for the body parts. Soon, the preserved heart and kidneys were on their way to China. Susan's parents were surprised their daughter didn't return home, something she had never done. Early the next morning, they drove to New Hope Hospital to ask about their daughter. "Cynthia, where is your friend?" Susan's mom asked Cynthia. "Mummy, I thought she went home yesterday. While I was leaving, she said she was waiting to see somebody," Cynthia said. "To see who?" Susan's mother asked. "Ma, she refused to say who," Cynthia said. "When is your chief medical director coming?" Susan's father asked. "He should be here by 10, sir," Susan said. "Okay, we'll wait," Susan's parents said, plopping down on the metal chair. Dr. Gambo was met with the agitated parents of Susan. "Where is our doctor? She came to work here, but has gone missing," Susan's parents said. "Sir, we don't have buses for our staff, so they find their ways home on their own. We can check the CCTV camera from yesterday to see if it picked anything." Dr. Gambo suggested. The parents had checked the cameras. Nothing appeared made up. They saw when she left the lobby of the hospital. Some cameras outside weren't working, so they couldn't see where she went to, or to who she went to see. Twice the compound was thrown into total darkness. Her parents went to the police, but nothing was ever heard of Susan again. She disappeared like a mirage. No matter how hard they searched, she was nowhere to be found. "Are you sure I'm going to be okay, babe? I no longer understand my body," Bridget said. She was getting weaker and weaker by the day. She had collapsed over 3 times. "Let's go and see Dr. Gambo. He will know what's happening to you. Stop crying, baby. You will not die," Chukwudi said. It was already dark. They had to wait for the next morning. Bridget kept vomiting blood. Chukwudi was scared to the bone. He feared that she would die in the night. Her breathing was labored. They drove into the parking lot of New Hope Hospital. After an hour of waiting, they saw Dr. Gambo in his well-furnished lab. "Madam, how are you doing?" the doctor said. Bridget was looking green. She couldn't summon the strength to reply. "Doctor, my wife isn't fine. She's terribly sick since after that surgery. She has not been herself," Chukwudi cried. "It's been over months now. She's been moving from one sickness to another," Chukwudi continued. "It's okay, Oga. Let me talk to your wife," the doctor said. "Madam, what is wrong with you? How do you feel?" he asked. "Sir, I am always weak. Any small thing I eat, I will just vomit it. Please help me, doctor, I'm dying," Bridget said with Tesdi. She lay her head on her husband's shoulder. He put his arms around her shoulders. "Don't worry, Miss Chukwudi. You'll be all right. First of all, we have to run some tests on you to be sure of what is ailing you." "Did you eat before coming?" the doctor asked. Bridget shook her head. "Take this paper and go to the lab. Don't worry about the bill. It's on me," the doctor said. Chukwudi held his wife. As they made their way to the lab, the test was done. After 3 days, the result was out. He and his wife were relieved to find out it was just blood shortage and acute stomach infection. Chukwudi bought pints of blood for his wife. Dr. Gambo have her drugs to help her clear the infections in her stomach. For a few months, that Bridget was on the drugs prescribed for her by Dr. Gambo. She felt much better, going about her business, tending to her baby, who had started school. You can check the scan result here. From what it's showing, you have a large-sized appendicitis. It's ripened and ready to rupture. I'll recommend a quick surgery," Dr. Gambo told the terrified young man, who was looking at him with 2 scared puppy eyes. "Sir, I don't know what to think. It was a little stomach upset. I need to talk to my mum," he said. "You don't have the time. You need to do the operation. Tomorrow might be too late. You may die. Appendicitis isn't something to play around with. If you don't have it removed, you will die if it ruptures," Dr. Gambo said to the boy, who was almost pissing on his pate. "Jesus Christ, what do I need to do, sir? I don't want to die," he said, shivering. "Don't be scared, my young friend. I can't let you die. I'll conduct the operation for you. You don't have to be scared. You won't die," the man said. "Sir, even if I want to do the operation, I don't have the money. We need to get the money," the young man said. "The money isn't the problem. Our interest in New Hope Hospital is the betterment of our patients. We cannot let you die because of money. We will conduct the operation. Then your family can later raise the money. Or do you plan to run away?" the doctor asked. The terrified young boy shook his head. "Just go to the waiting room. Call your parents and inform them you're here, in case they want to come down here to be with you. But if they are not near, our nurses will take care of you till they come." The young man, a student of Unijo's, called his friends from the school to inform them about his whereabouts. "Dr. Israel, report to the theater. Your attention is needed." An announcement on the portable speaker, hanging above ground, called the attention of Dr. Israel, who was talking to doctor friends of his. He excused himself and went up to see who was calling him. He was directed to Dr. Gambo's office. "Israel, it seems you've been avoiding me," Dr. Gambo said. Israel didn't mutter a word. He kept staring at his boss in the face. Dr. Gambo pushed the files on his table towards him. Israel stood there, staring at his boss. "Go and get prepared. We want to carry out an emergency operation on a patient." Dr. Gambo said with his deep baritone voice. Israel picked up the files and perused through the scan result. "But sir, there's nothing wrong with this patient. Why do you want to operate him?" Israel asked. "Are you mad, Israel? When I tell you to do something, I don't expect you to ask me why, but how. I'm your boss. Ask me how. I'll give you a query if you repeat this again." Dr. Gambo threatened the young man. The young man dropped the file. "Sir, I won't be joining you in this operation. I regret ever falling into your clutch in the first place. I won't be your stooge of evil. If you want to recommend me sack, I don't have a problem with that." Israel barked angrily and stepped out of Dr. Gambo's and banged the door. Little Israel has suddenly grown wings," Dr. Gambo said, staring at the door. "It's time for me to clip his wings," he whispered, with a wicked smile on his face. The young man lay on the surgical table, eyes tightly shut, in a drug-induced coma. Dr. Gambo cut open his stomach under his belly button and removed the student's kidney he placed in an ice-filled cooler and sent it through a courier service to a patient who had paid for them. Dr. Gambo had a syringe filled with methamphetamine. He held the syringe to his back as he walked down the corridor that afternoon. He looked in both directions to see if anyone was coming. When the coast was clear, he put the syringe in his pocket and knocked on the door of Dr. Israel's door. "Who is there? Please come," Israel said, lifting his head up from the desktop in front of him. The door creaked and Dr. Gambo stepped into the room. "Good afternoon, sir," Israel said. "Good afternoon, Israel. You didn't join me for surgery, my friend," Doctor asked his junior colleague. He sat with one side of his buttock on Israel's table. He folded an arm under his chin. "Sir, I told you I cannot be part of that dirty business. What you did to Susan is unforgivable," Israel said. "I see her face each time I close my eyes." "Sir, I'm sorry to say, you don't have a heart in your chest," Israel said. "What about the money you have collected? Are you going to return it? You know our sponsors are not very generous people. When they pay us, we have to work for it." Dr. Gambo said, "If you want out, you have to return all the money you have gotten from me. It should be around 100 million naira," Dr. Gambo said. "I am ready to pay you, sir. So I won't have any business with you, sir." "You think I don't know why you wasted Susan? Because she took in for you," Dr. Israel said. Dr. Gambo's eyes light up in curiosity. "Oh, you're gossiping about me with your colleagues," Dr. Gambo said, getting down from the desk, putting his hands in the pocket of his white jacket. "Tell me who told you such lies," Dr. Gambo asked calmly and quietly, staring at Israel with his dark black holes. "Tell me who told you that I killed Susan because of her pregnancy," Dr. Gambo asked, walking to Israel's back. He felt uncomfortable, having his boss lurk behind him. "Is it Cynthia?" Dr. Gambo whispered. "You think I don't know that you two have been having your thing in the office here? Tell me if she told you. And who have you talked to?" Gambo whispered into Israel's ears. "You don't want to talk?" he asked Israel. "I'll make sure you don't tell anyone else this secret," he said as the sharp needles pierced into his neck. Immediately he fell on the ground and began to roll on the ground holding his chest. Dr. Gambo crossed over him and watched him struggle for air. The student's health was getting worse. He was vomiting blood. Dr. Gambo had placed him on admission to give special care to him. After his scan results returned, it showed that the boy's second kidney was bad. Dr. Gambo had nothing to do but to let the young man die slowly. He kept pumping drugs into his body. "Stephen, please don't die. Oh, God, what is happening to my son? See, his stomach is getting bigger every day," his mother cried. "Mama, don't worry, I won't die," Stephen said to Guess' weeping mother. "Stephen, you're not getting. See, your hand is getting thin and thinner. See, your stomach is so big like a 9-month-old pregnant woman," Mrs. Umi said with tears falling from her eyes. Stephen slowly sighed. He remembered how his life was shattered after his appendicitis diagnosis. It hurt him, you see, his mother crying in pains. Dr. Gambo came in to see his patient. He had just returned from the cemetery, where they went to commit Dr. Israel to Mother Earth. "How are you doing, Stephen?" Dr. Gambo asked, staring at his patient who lay in bed with big drum stomach and skeleton body with little stretched flesh hanging on his bony skin. "I am in pains. Let us go to another hospital. We've been here got going to 4 months, but then am not healing," Stephen said. "This is the best hospital in Jos. We can handle your situation." Stephen struggled to hang on to life. Just a few days later, he gave up the ghost. "Who will wipe my tears? Who will carry my late husband's legacy? This is my only son, lying on the bed dead. God, take me and return my son." She wept, rolling on the floor. "Madam, take heart. It's God that took your son. Who are we to question him?" Dr. Gambo said. He consoled Stephen's family and gave his mother 1 million naira for his burial. Though the money couldn't bring back her, it consoled her heart. She had never seen such kind of money in her life. Gossip had started flowing in the hospital that Dr. Gambo had been harvesting people's organs. "Daddy, I want the brown bear. Please get it for me," Sydney cried. Her parents had purchased all they needed. "That's expensive, Sydney. We cannot spend $200 to get you another teddy when you have not finished playing with all the ones you have at home," Rinky said to her daughter, who had started crying. "Baby, let her have it. We have a lot of money. We don't do this every day. We came on vacation here. The money won't eat itself. If we don't give it to our children, who shall we give it to?" Dr. Gambo said to his wife. "But baby, you're spoiling this girl. She has over 8 teddies at home. Why would you get her this one?" "It's too expensive, over 200,000 naira, Rinky complained. Gambo pecked her on the cheek. "You see, baby, I'll do everything to put food on our table and give our kids the best life I can," Dr. Gambo said. Rinky reluctantly followed behind her husband into the shop, where they bought the teddy bear, so big that 9-year-old Sydney couldn't carry it. Her brother was looking grumpy. "Dad, I want the electric bicycle, the one we saw at the hardware shop," Tunis said. Rinky turned to her husband. She couldn't believe he was buying into such nonsense. "What? Don't tell me you're going to buy that for him too?" Rinky exclaimed. "Come on, baby. We came for vacation here. Please loosen up," Dr. Gambo said, and allowed his 2 children drag him into the hardware shop. He got the bicycle worth about 700,000 naira and a PlayStation 5 worth about 400,000. Next, they went to a 5-star restaurant in the Burj Khalifa building in Dubai. It was an amazing sight to behold. They were about 100 floors above the ground. The kids had never gone that high before. They were seized grilled turkey with macaroni with salad and cheese. The 4 washed down their lavished meal with a bottle of red wine. The elevator ride was fun for the kids. They enjoyed the vibration under their feet that made them feel they were about to fall. Dr. Gambo spent over $5,000 for lunch that day. The hired vehicle was waiting for them downstairs, a black Range Rover Sport with tinted windows. They taken to their executive suite at the Atlantis The Palm Hotel that sat to the beach. The 800,000 naira they pay for a day was not a waste. They got sumptuous dinner and breakfast in bed. The suite was 3-bedroom apartment. 1 room to Sydney, another to Tunis, while Rinky and her husband shared a room. After a lavish breakfast at the Trace in Dubai, a 5-star restaurant, their driver picked them up and made a 20-minute drive to the Museum of the Future at Sheikh Zayed Road. The museum was covered in a silver paints that made it look like a diamond wall, with Arabic inscriptions carved into the body of the building. It was built in the shape of a cowrie with a hole in the middle. "Wow! Daddy, this place is so beautiful. I love it," Sydney said as she embraced her dad. "I'll have a lot of stuffs to tell Aisha and Shadema. They kept telling me of their vacations. Dad, you made my dream come true." She embraced her dad. Dr. Gambo just smiled and looked at his daughter admiringly. The walls and ceilings were pure white. The inscriptions allowed for sunlight to filter into the large museum. Sydney and Tunis spent their time running around chasing each other while their parents lagged behind discussing. "Honey, we're spending too much money. I hope you're not taking money from the hospital," Rinky asked her husband, staring at his face. "For the love of God, Rinky, are you calling me a thief?" "I am good at what I do. The pay of the hospital is good, my salary and allowances. Plus, I told you I am also into import and export of medical materials," Gambo said. "But baby, we shouldn't use up all our money just to enjoy ourselves. We need to make sure we save for the rainy day," Rinky said. "Baby, we spent only about 15 million. We don't do this always. Am I doing anything wrong trying to be a good husband and father?" Gambo asked with a crestfallen face. "Baby, you're getting it wrong. I didn't say it's bad. But imagine what house 15 million naira can build in Jos, and we put it for rent." 15 million isn't 15,000 naira, Rinky said. Her husband chuckled. "How many houses are we going to acquire? We have 1 in Zaria, 2 in Abuja, 4 in Jos, Life is short, let us make it memorable. After 2 hours in the museum, the Gambos returned to the hotel. They had spent 7 days in Dubai. Rinky was packing up all the stuffs they had acquired in Dubai. Their stay in Dubai came to an end when the SUV dropped them off at the Dubai International Airport. It looked like a gray-colored sausage dropped on the floor. They got into an Emirata planned first class, where they flew to Abuja. From Abuja, a driver came to pick Dr. Gambo to their mansion at Asokoro, where they spent several days before going back to Plateau Start, where a lot of work was waiting for Dr. Gambo to do. "Honey, I don't think I will make it. Please take care of our son," Bridget said in distress. She was rolling on the ground, her stomach churning with pain. She couldn't sit up or stand up. "Baby, you have to make it. Oh, I can't take care of our baby alone. Let me take you to Dr. Gambo's hospital. I think he will know what to do about it." Chukudi said. He tried to get up. "No, honey, I can't go to that hospital. I don't know what that man did to me, but my problem started from that hospital. I don't want to go back there," Bridget said, refusing to get up. "Baby, what are you talking about? Please let us go to another hospital and see. This is the 4th time we're going to that hospital. I'm tired," Bridget said. Her husband picked her up and rushed out of the house. Bridget passed out when they got into the car. Chukudi drove to the hospital. "Please, is Dr. Gambo around?" Chukudi cried to a nurse, who helped him wheel Bridget to the emergency ward. "Yes, the doctor is in surgery. He will be out in another 30 minutes, the nurse said. 2 doctors worked hard to resuscitate Bridget. "Honey, I told you not to bring me here. I want to leave." Bridget wept. "Baby, don't cry. He will help you. Soon you will be better," Chukudi said, holding her hands. "Leave me alone. You want me to die here. Why would you take me here?" she said, weeping. "God, how can you say that? I want you to get well," Chukudi tried to explain, but his wife was not taking any of it. "I was okay, Chukudi. I was okay before you brought me here. Since when you brought me here, my life got destroyed," she said, crying. The doctor came to the door of the room. "Hello, Bridget. How are you doing?" Dr. Gambo asked. "I am not fine, oh doctor. Do I look fine to you?" Bridget said, crying. Dr. Gambo said, trying to touch Bridget. "Don't touch me," Bridget screamed. "I don't know what you did to me. My health got ruined the moment I stepped into your hospital," Bridget said, tears falling from her eyes. "Bridget, it's okay," Chukudi said, trying to calm his wife down. "Don't tell me that. I am in pains. I don't want to be here. Take me out of this place," Bridget said. Dr. Gambo walked out of the room. Chukudi ran after him. "Please, doctor, don't be angry. She's hallucinating. She's just rambling. I'm sorry about my wife's." Dr. Gambo held his hands. "Don't worry, sir. I understand your plight. She's in pains. She needs to put blame on somebody," the doctor said before walking towards his office. "This woman is trying the Viper. I promise she will never leave this hospital. She will go out there and they'll run a scan and know my secret. No way. She has to die. Oh, she cannot come and spoil a business I started over 10 years now." Dr. Gambo thought to himself. "Hello, Bridget. How are you doing?" Dr. Gambo said when he stepped into Bridget's room. "Doctor, I'm fine," Bridget said, not looking at his face. "I hope the nurse gave you drugs?" the doctor asked. Bridget nodded. "Where's your husband?" he asked, glaring at a corner, as though Chukudi was hiding there and waiting to pounce out at him. "My husband has gone to pick my son from school," Bridget said. "Okay, I want to give you this injection. It will help you regain your strength," Dr. Gambo said. Bridget didn't want to take the injection. "No, doctor, I don't want this injection. I'm already getting well," Bridget said. "I am your doctor and the one to tell you when you're well or not. I say you're not well. I'll give you this inject and you will go to sleep. It would help you relax and sleep," Dr. Gambo said. Bridget wouldn't stay calm for him to inject her. The needle brushed off her skin and fell to the ground after the doctor had injected her. She began to have palpitations. Her heart was threatening to shut down. She struggled to catch her breath. The doctor stood there staring at her. As she struggled to breathe, he waited patiently. "What did you put in the injection?" Bridget asked, terrified. "You're killing me," Bridget said. Dr. Gambo stared at her with a sinister smirk on her face. "Stop fighting it, Bridget. It will soon be over," he said. Bridget tried to call for help. She felt her lungs collapsing. She saw her life leaving her body. Just at the last minute, the door creaked open and Chukudi popped into the room with his son. The doctor was taken aback. He was startled. Chukudi had heard his wife's guttural sounds like she was dying from outside. When he entered and saw her fighting for air, while the doctor stood and did nothing, then he agreed with her. that Dr. Gambo wanted her dead. He lifted her to his shoulder and grabbed the hand of their son. He rushed with his limp wife to the back of his car and drove out of the hospital premises while the doctor watched them from his office window, biting his finger. "Nafisat, do you know you're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen?" Dr. Gambo said to a beautiful Fulani girl who was working as a cleaner in the hospital to support her education. The girl was so shy she couldn't look at his face. "Thank you, sir," she said, her eyes on her legs. "I'll take care of you, Nafisat. I want to even marry you. You know you're a beautiful girl. You will even quit this job and focus on your school fully," he said. "Well, sir, you're a Christian and I'm a Muslim. My father won't accept that kind of marriage," Nafisat said. "Come on, when I give him money, he will accept my proposal. See, I love you," he said. He had been pestering the girl for over a year. "Sir, what about madam? I don't want a problem with her. I am not ready to be married now. I just want to finish my degree course first," Nafisat said. Dr. Gamble wasn't ready to give up yet. "Let me send some amount to your account, so you will know I love you." He brought out his phone and sent 500,000 naira to her account. When the naive girl saw the alert, she almost fainted. "Sir, what am I to do with this kind of amount of money?" she asked. "Use it to take care of yourself. Use it to pay your fees in boy course materials," Dr. Gambo said. The girl fell on her knees with tears in her eyes. "Thank you, sir. God will bless you," she said. "I'll take care of you, Nafisat. Just agree to be my girlfriend," Dr. Gambo said. "Sir, I'll be your girlfriend, sir. Thank you, sir. I've been working so hard to pay my fees. My father refused to sponsor me because I left Mongu when he gave my hands in marriage. I ran away. Though I went back home, he refused to support my education," Nafisat said. "Don't worry, Nafisat. You won't lack anything. I'll take care of you," Dr. Gambo said. Nafisat gathered her mopping stick and bucket. She cleaned the tears from her eyes with the edge of her hijab. Dr. Gambo was in a tight spot. A client had paid for kidneys for almost 2 months, but it had become difficult to get kidney until he saw the new cleaner. He wanted to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Dr. Gambo let me enjoy her newfound happiness for 3 days. Then he invited her to a hotel of his friend. They ate at the restaurant before lodging into the room. The sex was sweet. He had spiced the yogurt Nafisat drank. She fell into a deep sleep. Dr. Gambo raised her from the bed and spread a large nylon all over the room. He then lay her on the nylon, and from his bag he brought out his surgical equipment. He began to gently open her stomach. Nafisat woke up in the middle of the operation. She felt a sharp pain on her lower abdomen. She placed a hand on her stomach and felt warm liquid pouring out. She brought her finger to her nose. Fear gripped her body. It was definitely blood, her blood. She tried to let out a cry. It felt as if something was holding her throat down. She couldn't let out the cry. She struggled to get up. She was paralyzed. She began to shiver. "Sir, please don't kill me," she whimpered. The man who was holding a phone torchlight in his mouth, which was obscuring his face, ignored her. He was furious that the sedative wore out earlier. He removed her kidneys. He put them in a cooler of ice. While she was still alive, Nafisat died from cardiac arrest. Then he removed her head, arms, then her legs, before cutting the stomp of her body, eye to chunks. He loaded them into several suitcases he had come along with. He wrapped the bloody nylon in the big nylon before placing it in the suitcase. He had brought the suitcases earlier in the day. Calmly, he took the suitcases one after the other to the trunk of his car, greeting the nice waiters, wondering if he could have one of them when he had another urgent client. He always searched for a prospective victim before the need arose, so he wouldn't be stuck. He planned his operations before the due date, crossing the T. The night waiters were oblivious to Dr. Gambo's sinister activities. They were not there in the morning when he checked in, so they assumed he had to travel. They offered to help him carry his heavy luggage, but he wouldn't allow anyone touch it. He arranged all the suitcases inside the boot of his vehicle and drove them to a faraway mountainous forest, where he found a spot next to other of his victims. He began to dig a shallow grave. After an hour and 30 minutes of digging, he had a 3-foot grave, which he poured the body parts he had tied in big nylons into the grave. One after the other, he dropped the chunks of Nafisat's body into the ground. Then he began to cover it with sand. He was done burying her in another hour. He took the shovel to where he usually hid it in the bush and was on his way out of the bush. He went home late with an excuse of a surgery that ran late into the night. His wife had made a chicken tomato stew and white rice. His kids, who had eaten much earlier, had to join him. Dr. Gambo hated eating alone. He loved to eat with his family. Meshach, what brought you to my office? Dr. Gambo asked when he suddenly met one of the security guards on duty in his office. The look of terror spread throughout the young man's face. He regretted following through with Cynthia's plan. He was dropping urine on his boxers. I asked you a question. Have you suddenly grown deaf and dumb? The doctor asked, putting his hands inside his white coat pocket. Sir, I thought I heard someone here. Meshach stuttered while fidgeting. Come on, Meshach, tell me the truth. I am not the devil. I don't bite. Why did you come into my office? He asked. Meshach's lips suddenly went dry. He couldn't come up with a reasonable lie. Sir, sincerely, sir, I thought there was somebody here trying to steal from you. I saw when you left. I was surprised to hear movements here, so I came in to check. Meshach lied. The doctor chuckled. You must think I'm a fool, he mumbled to himself. He dipped his hand into the left pocket of his lab coat and brought out the shining silver pistol. Now you'll tell me what brought you to my office. I won't hesitate to shoot you and bury you here. The doctor yelled, his eyes getting red with anger. Sir, I will not lie, sir. I will not lie. It's Cynthia. She asked me to come and check your office. Meshach said, trembling. Check my office for what? He asked, the gun still trained at Meshach's head. To see if I can get information or anything, he said. I guess you have found what you were looking for. He asked Meshach, who shook his head in fear. No, sir, I didn't see anything. I swear to God, sir, please don't kill me. Meshach begged. He went down on both knees. You seen already that I'm a serial killer. You opened my laptop and read my mail. I cannot let you walk out of here. You'll expose my secrets. Dr. Gambo said with a mischievous, sinister smirk on his face. I swear, sir, I won't tell anyone. Please, sir, forgive me. Meshach begged. Dr. Gambo threw some pills to him. Take it and swallow it, he ordered the terrified boy, who picked up the drugs. He was glaring at it. Now put it in your mouth and swallow it, the doctor ordered. Meshach was hesitant. The doctor cocked his handgun, put it on Meshach's head. Put it in your mouth now, he said calmly. Meshach did as he was instructed. Now swallow the pills, the doctor said, motioning with his gun. Meshach swallowed the drug. The doctor sat there with a gun in his hand, waiting for him to drop down into deep sleep. When he finally did, he called the security man at the gate to turn off the light. Then he went into the lab and got his equipments. He also brought a waste bin with him. He began the operation. He opened Meshach up and removed his kidney and heart. Then he put his body in the plastic waste bin. He asked his colleague to get a bag of cement from the store. The doctor mixed the sand and cement, then rolled the waste bin with Meshach's remains to an abandoned store, where old hospital equipments are kept. He filled the green bin up with thick concrete and hid the bin before leaving to his office. He returned to his office with bleach to wash off the blood stains on his floor. He scrubbed out the blood and sprayed air freshener all over his office. Hello, Macaulay. I got a heart and kidney for pickup right now. Dr. Gambo spoke to a man on the phone. Now is not the right time, Dr. Gambo. Dr. Aziz just supplied us with 2 kidney and a heart. You can keep it till next week. We may have an order from China, the man said on the phone. No, I can't keep it here. I think they're getting on me. The security man was the one I got this set from. He was in my office searching. Dr. Gambo explained. I'll give you 13 million naira. I'll buy it for myself. Chief won't accept that deal. We don't keep products, Macaulay said. But you told me you people stopped dealing with Dr. Aziz if you cannot be reliable. I'll get a new supply chain. I won't sell shit for 13 million. If you think it's so easy to get this parts, why not enter the streets and get them for yourself? Dr. Gambo said angrily. I'll give you 14 million naira last. If you will sell, I'll send my courier man to pick them up tomorrow. Mr. Jin might be interested in getting the heart. For the kidney, I'll ask my contacts in the Middle East if they want the kidney, the middleman said. Send the money. You can send your courier man tomorrow morning. Gambo said grudgingly. He dropped the phone and cussed. This Fargate is still dealing with Aziz, that backstabber that sells parts as if he plucked them from the tree. I'll have to get a connection with the Chinese myself. I can't believe they can double-cross me. Dr. Gambo said before locking his office. He went downstairs to the nurse's station to ask after Nurse Cynthia. He was told she had done afternoon duty and had long closed from work. Tell her to come see me in my office tomorrow by 12. He instructed the nurse before leaving the hospital. Oga, your wife's kidney was harvested. The doctor said point blank. Sir, I don't understand. Harvested how? Mr. Chukwudi asked. The doctor showed him the X-ray scan. His wife truly had only one kidney. Don't make one single noise. I know you are aware of what I am capable of. Who have you told about my operations? Dr. Gambo barked at Cynthia, with a finger placed on his lips to signal her to remain quiet. Sir, I promise you, I didn't tell anyone anything. I don't know anything, Cynthia said with tears pouring from her eyes. You bloody liar, you don't know anything and you told Meshach to investigate me, Dr. Gambo said, chuckling. Sir, I didn't send him, I swear to God, The hot slap that landed on her face blinded her for a minute. Now sit down on that chair, he ordered her. Since you don't want to tell me the truth quietly, I'll make this as painful as it can be for you, he said. He cocked the Beretta handgun and put it on her head. I want you to sit still. Any funny movement, you're dead, okay? He commanded. Cynthia nodded. Now take this rope, tie your right hand to the chair, he said calmly, as if they were having a friendly chit-chat. Cynthia obeyed and tied one of her hand on the chair. With one hand, he fastened the rope on her second hand. Now, are you ready to talk now? He asked Cynthia. Sir, I don't know anything. Please let me go, Cynthia replied. HR sent a stinging slap across her face. The force sent her and the chair flying. She landed on her back, strapped to the black office chair. You already know I am an organ harvester. You will not leave this room alive with my secrets. I am going to make sure you won't tell tales about me, Dr. Gambo said. You murderer, blood-sucking murderer, you will never go scot-free. The blood of Susan and Israel will hunt you wherever you go. Cynthia screamed, tears pouring from her eyes. The doctor laughed. I thought you just told me you didn't know anything. How come you know about those unfortunate poor things I killed? They're worthless. Their kidneys and hearts are serving people who should be alive. And you forgot to add Meshach to the list. I killed him yesterday. He begged as you're now begging. I didn't listen. I enjoyed every minute of his dying hour. Cynthia spat at the smiling face. He paused and wiped the saliva from his face with the back of his hand. I won't give you any sedative to make you sleep. I'll cut off your arms just for the pleasure of it. To see you suffer in pains, before I make you watch as I remove your intestines, which are unnecessary. Just for me to watch you in pain, before I take your kidney and your heart. He teased her. Somebody help, Cynthia wailed, which made the doctor laugh. You can scream all you want. Nobody's going to hear you. We are in the old store. Nobody will come to help you. He kicked her hard in the head before stepping out of the room. Then locked the door behind him. He jovially greeted staff and patients as he went towards the theater to retrieve his surgery equipment. For the whole day, Cynthia had been avoiding Dr. Gambo, while she hoped to get the evidence she hoped to get from the doctor's office. The whole day she looked for Meshach, but it was as if he fell into a black hole. He was nowhere to be found, and nobody had seen him, even his colleagues. Dr. Gambo was watching her on the CCTV monitor mounted in his office when she wandered towards the old storage room. He rushed out of his office before she would leave. Her attention was finding Meshach. Dr. Gambo crept on her and hit her with the butt of his handgun. He dragged her into the room. Two men wearing black suits, with dark sunshades, with white shirt and red tie. The nurses at the reception greeted the fearsome-looking men. Please, we are looking for the medical director of this hospital, one of the men asked. His office is at the first floor, the first office to your right, she said. The men thanked her and climbed up to the office. They began to knock on the door, but didn't get any response. That nurse saw Dr. Gambo coming from the theater. Sir, some men were here to see you. I directed them to your office. The lady said. Dr. Gambo, eyebrows rose. Thank you, let me go and see them. HS said. He was expecting to see Macaulay and his colleagues, but when he came face with the men, he knew they had come for trouble. Hello, where can we find Dr. Gambo? One of the men asked Dr. Gambo. He should be in the theater right now. Dr. Gambo said. One of the men shook his hands. He stared at his eyes. He saw a killer in it. Dr. Gambo hurried out of the car park and drove out of that hospital. These people are on me. I have to escape. He mumbled to himself. He drove to his house. Rinky, go and get the children from school. We need to leave Joss, Dr. Gambo said with so much urgency in his voice. Why? She asked. I don't have time to answer your question. Get the children ready. We need to leave. He rushed upstairs to gather his passports. He would travel to Dubai, from there to China. He looked out of the window and saw police vehicles assembling on the street. He knew the law enforcement was onto him. He left the mansion through the back and ran into the bush. The barbed wire cut open his hands. He didn't stop to check it. He kept running deeper into the bush until he got to a highway. Kaduna? He hailed down a car. The vehicle stopped and he jumped in. Madam, we are not joking with you. If you refuse to give us your husband's whereabout, we'll charge you for aiding and abetting. The police detective, who was wearing a charcoal gray suit, said to Rinky, Oga, I swear to you in the name of God, I don't know where my husband is. He just came to that house yesterday night and asked me to prepare the children we were leaving. The next thing I know, you people broke into the house, Rinky said with a teary, shaky voice. So you want to convince us that you were not part of your husband's business? A second officer said, brashly, to the weeping woman. Oga, what business have you people been talking about? My husband is a renowned doctor. He's a surgeon. Matthias has no business, she said. Shut up, for the love of God. You lying piece of shit. You live in a 6-bedroom duplex. How did he acquire it? You are lying to cover his track. But you see, this lie is going to sink you to jail. The second officer asked. He pulled off his sweat-soaked suit and threw it on a chair across the room. Madam Rinky, I believe you that you don't know your husband is into organ harvesting, but how do you explain your cars, the expensive trips around the world? The officer couldn't complete his statement when Rinky stopped him. What do you mean by organ harvesting? Rinky asked in total disbelief, her lips dried and crusty. You had me well, madam. Your husband has been alleged to have illegally harvested kidney from 20 patients he operated on. Rinky couldn't contain her shock. She felt like crumbling. She again interrupted the officer. That's a lie, sir. Matthias can never do that. He's a good Christian, good husband, a loving father. Rinky dimly defended her husband, but she felt there was truth to the allegation. Your husband is not only an organ thief, he's responsible for the death of 8 people. He killed Susan, a nurse in the hospital. He killed a security guard in the hospital. He also murdered 6 other patients in the hospital and removed their hearts and kidney, which he sold to China. We have made so arrest. We have people from his syndicate in our custody. The policeman paused. Rinky began to sob. He was about killing another nurse who was working to reveal his secret. The timely arrival of our men saved that lady. He had injected her and tore her clothes open. Just when he was about cutting her open, our men arrived and he fled from the hospital. He got up and opened the media on his tablet. This is our pictures captured by your husband's colleague, Israel Gomina. He was his partner, until they had a misunderstanding of which he refused to disclose to Cynthia, his girlfriend, the nurse your husband tried to kill. But then she survived. When we got into his office, we found 10 phones. The man said, arms tucked across his chest. The truth is your husband is a serial killer and an organ harvester. You should tell us where he could be right now, or else you'll be locked up as a partner to his crime. He said, you enjoyed the luxury cars and houses, vacations overseas. You should give him up, or we rope you in. The detective said. Rinky held her head. It felt like bursting. She was shocked beyond word. His elder sister is in Abuja. I think he should be there. Rinky said, for your own good, prayer that we find him there, or else you're going to jail. The man said, do you understand me? He asked. Rinky nodded. She wrote down the address of her sister-in-law. Macaulay, I'm telling you this place isn't safe for me. You're still talking about doing another surgery for you? Gambo said. Well, if you want us to help you leave Nigeria, you have to rub our back. We have somebody who has donated his kidney. We just want you to remove it. That's all, and you're on your way out of Nigeria. Gambo stared at Macaulay with hatred in his eyes. He couldn't believe the man would hold him to ransom when he could easily put him on a private jet, leaving Nigeria that morning. Where is the operation going to be carried out? Dr. Gambo asked. That's not a problem. We have a hospital of our associates. You can carry out the operation there, Macaulay said. Well, get into the car, Macaulay said with a smirk on his face. Dr. Gambo jumped into the vehicle. They drove into a quiet environment in Wusei Zone 6. Scrubs and protective gears were provided for Dr. Gambo. But when he stepped into the room, he saw the donor. He was lost for words. Macaulay, do you think this man is healthy for the procedure? I've a lot on my plate. I don't want to compound issues for myself, Dr. Gambo said. He was paid 2 million naira, His family signed an agreement to keep silent no matter the outcome of the operation. Macaulay said, "Did you test his 2 kidneys if they're functioning properly?" Dr. Gambo asked. "It's not necessary. Just remove the kidney that you are here to do." Dr. Gambo entered the theater. The second man, the middle-aged man who looked like a drunkard, was unconscious from the sedative he was given. In total silence, Dr. Gambo cut the man open. When he saw the kidneys, one looked a bit darker. He knew that the man shouldn't be operated open. He went out to inform Macaulay. He asked him to remove the good kidney. Dr. Gambo went in and did as he was instructed. He didn't care one bit for anyone else. He just wanted to leave Nigeria. Then he would look for a way to move his family out and disappear forever. He gave the man drugs to bring him around. After the kidney was successfully removed, but the man's eyes remained shut. Dr. Gambo took the information to Macaulay. He was unfazed. "I know this isn't the first dead person you have seen in the course of your operation. Take this as one of your dead victims." That was all Macaulay said. "Your plane ticket has been sorted out. You have to travel to Kenya on a private jet of our associates. Before you join a plane to Kuwait, Mr. Hin has made a secured place for you to stay till this cool down," Macaulay said when they got into his SUV. He dropped him off at his sister's residence before driving away in his GMC Escalade. 4 black SUVs were parked on the street of Savannah Estate in a suspicious manner while plain vehicles patrolled the streets of the big estate at Gwarimpa. Immediately, Dr. Gambo stepped into the white 4-bedroom duplex, the SUV, and surrounded the building. A black GMC van blocked the gate. Men dressed in black camouflage, with matching bulletproof vests and black helmets, bearing heavy firearms, jumped out from the back of the van. Police trucks drove in blaring horns, which alerted. Dr. Gambo ran to the back of the house. He saw men of the police and DSS had surrounded the house. "Jesus Christ, I've been surrounded," Dr. Gambo cried, running in all directions. "Matthias, what is going on here?" Miriam, Gambo's elder sister, asked. He had no time to answer her. He was looking for a route of escape. He had bought the palatial building for Miriam and her family. He rarely visited them. He would rather go to his Maitama mansion. "Gambo, you're obviously in trouble. See the policemen everywhere. What did you do?" Miriam asked her brother. He shoved her out of his way. "Please, Miriam, allow me to think," he said, running up the stairs. Then a voice came on, through the megaphone. "Dr. Matthias Gambo, you've been surrounded. We have your wife in our custody. She's here in Abuja. Bring yourself out. We guarantee you your safety," the man said. Gambo went to the room his sister had housed him. He stared out of the window. He saw rifles pointed at him. "Gambo, talk to me," Miriam cried. Gambo grabbed his sister and shook her hard. "Can you shut up your big mouth for a minute, Miriam? Just let me fucking think," he barked with anger, his face turning white with anger, the sword his sister had never seen. White saliva jumped from the side of his hand. Miriam began to cry. She saw the true nature of her brother. "Matthias, you're a murderer. Leave me alone," she said. He could see the fear in her eyes. His nephews and nieces had entered the room and witnessed their uncle assault their mother. Dr. Gambo was speechless. He tried to embrace Miriam. She gently pushed him away and ran to her room. The teenagers glared at their uncle, who they had known as a bout angel, with hatred. "I'm sorry, guys." He apologized. They turned and left his room. Gambo went to his sister's room to make amends. If he was going to leave the world, he was going to make amends with the few people he cared about. The security men had climbed over the fence and were banging on the main door. He went to his sister's bedroom. "I'm sorry I hurt you, Miriam. My greed has pushed me down the path of evil. I did so bad things. They're coming after me," he said before going back into his room. He locked the door from outside, climbed on his bed, and popped a whole container of pills into his mouth. He felt the sweet, drowsy feeling of sleep coming over him. He left the conscious world and the screams of his sister. The security men poured into the house, knocking down the door. They pushed Miriam out of the way. As they began to kick the room she knocking on, with heavy metal bars, they knocked out the hinges on the door and stormed into the room. They saw Dr. Gambo lying calmly on the bed. He was unconscious. The empty bottle of pills he had swallowed lay next to him. He had overdosed himself. "Rush him, you the van," the DSS man instructed. He was rushed out of the building. They drove with him to the National Hospital at Area 1, near the National Stadium. He was admitted to the intensive care unit of the hospital. He heavily guarded while he was in his 1-week coma, handcuffs chained to his bed. He was not happy to open his eyes to the bright fluorescent light pouring into his eyes. He saw a smirk on the face of the DSS officer who was standing beside his bed. "You think you could run away from justice?" the man asked. "Even death cannot take you until you pay to the fullest extent for all your crimes against humanity. How can you be a doctor and a killer at the same time?" he asked with a serious look on his face. "That is ironic and paradoxical," the officer said. "Your prison cell will be isolated," the man said, before calling the doctors to check on him. He recovered fully and was put on remand custody at the Kuje Maximum Prison. He was brought to the Federal High Court in Jabi for his hearing. The courtroom was filled with reporters. The news had broken the internet in Nigeria. The judge got into the bench for his trial. It was a very short trial. Dr. Gambo had no defense. He refused for any lawyer to stand for him. His wife and sister were in the court to see his judgment passed on the last day of his hearing. "You are a shame and embarrassment to the medical profession and to your country. It's ironic that you, who is supposed to be a life-giver and an upholder of morality, descended so low because of greed and avarice, destroyed lives because of greed." She paused and stared at him. "A death sentence will be me being merciful. For the first-degree assault and bodily mutilation on over 25 patients, I sentence you to 40 years in prison. For the murder of 9 people, including your colleagues, I sentence you to 2 life sentences. This is my judgment on the 21st of September, 2023. With those words came the end of the sitting. Dr. Gambo was dragged out of the courtroom by prison's officers in handcuffs. His face was bowed in shame. He couldn't look up. The few times he looked at Rinky, he could see the hurt in her eyes. She had always questioned his wealth. He could see clearly the hurt and disappointment in her eyes. His sister's eyes burned through his heart. She still couldn't believe her brother was capable of the things he did. Inside the back of the truck, he had enough time to reflect on his wickedness that spread through 1 decade.